Hi, this is Pam, Flower Patch Farmhouse, and today we are going to take these violas out and the tulips of this galvanized tub. I'm going to put the petunias in here with some alyssum. I think the pink with the white will be wonderful. I don't like a ton of different colors in here. Even for me, this yellow with the purple in here together was a little much. I like a big mass of one color. I'm not into the thriller, spiller, whatever. And if I do put something in here that would vine, it would be something like needlepoint ivy. It's got the little leaves, and I have a ton of it, so I might put it in here because it's very subdued. It's not real bright and garish, so it won't detract. It'll just accent the pink. So let me get these all cut back. Now these plants are going to go out into the garden. I'm not going to get rid of them. They'll do great in an area that gets morning sun and afternoon shade in the hot part of the day. These did great out here on my back deck while it was cooler, and for the very cold part of spring, we have very cold springs, and it brings a jolt of color. I plant these up in the fall, and then they overwinter, and then as soon as it warms up even the littlest bit, they start blooming for me. So I have color before anything else really starts in the garden. We start really late here, even though we're zone 8, zone 8A, we have very cold springs that can be kind of semi-warm one day and then snowing the next. So you have to kind of go with the flow and not expect too much. But violas are tough. They'll take some heat as well as they take a lot of cold. So you can get away with planting them in here. They live over through the winter. They don't look great in the winter, let me tell you, but then once, like I said, it warms up, they'll just take off. Now I'm going to dig these out and put them in here to go out into the garden, and I just dig out their roots, get as much as the root as I can, and pop them over here, and they will go right out into the garden, and you'd be surprised at how they will spring back and be beautiful. Now I could leave the tulips in here and see how they did next year, which is a possibility. They're so deep that I might go ahead and do that and just dig up the violas, because that way the tulips can come back up next year. And if I plant more tulips in here, they'll just accent them. Okay, so I got all the violas, I do believe. Let me see, is that one? Nope, one more. So now I'm not going to take all the soil out because I supplement with worm castings and a fresh soil that I just amend with it, and it's worked fine for me. This soil was in here last summer through winter, and but supplementing with a fresh top dressing has been sufficient for me to get good growth from my plants in it, as well as I go ahead and I water with a water-soluble organic fertilizer all summer, so it keeps getting fed. I'm trying to see, what is that? I don't know. Okay, so I will dig some of this out to replace. I just need a bucket to put that in, so I will be right back. Here's a galvanized tub. I found these at Wal-Mart. I just love them. They're a square tub. I think they were like $9. Anyways, I'm going to put plants in them. I don't know if I'm going to put a gallon-sized pot in here, so it's not, I don't have to poke holes in these, or what I'm going to do, but when I do, I'll share with you when I do figure it out. So here we go. I'm going to dig out some of the dirt and put in this tub, kind of digging around where the tulips are so I don't disturb them. And then I will replace it with fresh. My chicken seems to think she needs to be heard. Okay, let's see. Let's spread this around. And I have fresh potting soil, rich potting soil down here. These are my alyssums. These I grew from seed. You see how nice and pretty they are? They got the big white flowers. Now what I love about growing from seed, you probably heard me tell you this before, was you can get a lot on the cheap. You can buy, you know, big potted plants, but they're going to cost you $5 a piece. And I've got like, probably got 50 of these, so you can imagine how much that would add up. So I can have a lot for little money. So then you can go spend it on some other kind of pricier perennial rather than blowing it on a annual. I don't pay a lot of money for annuals because I know I can get them from seed. Okay, now I'm going to go with the pink petunias in here. Oh, got a little worm in there. I'll let him go out in the garden. So these need a little water. They're dry. It's been a warm couple of days here. So we'll put them in here. We'll give them a good soaking and they'll just perk right back up. But I'm going to make them a nice big spot. Put them down in there. And tuck it in. I broke a piece. No big deal. You know what I could do with this too is I could strip off the lower leaves, stick it in water, and it will root. And I could have another petunia. These probably could use a trim back to revive them. Just a little bit. I wouldn't do all of it. I would do like a third of the little stems. And here's another one. I'm not really digging down in the center very deep. I guess I could. I could go, I thought the tulips were right there, but it's actually not. So I was going to go around the edges and they'll fill in towards the center. Now I'm doing 3 in here. Now these 6-packs of these petunias I got in these little tiny 6-packs, and I put them up in these 4-inch pots. I got them back in April, and they filled in and got a lot bigger. And the 6-packs were $2. So I got a lot of bang for the buck even here. So between each of the petunias, I'm going to put an alyssum. And what I love about this is in a couple weeks I'll come back and share, a few weeks, how this is really filled in. And since the 6-packs of the petunias were like $2.59 for the 6-pack, so I only used 3, so that would be $1.25. And then these grew from seed, which the whole packet for like 50 plants was like $2. So mere cents. Oh, I think there's a thunderstorm going over. So for $3, I get a planter filled that is going to last me all summer long and just fill in and be gorgeous. I do have some ornamental grasses I've started this year, and I had thought about putting one in here, but I think it's a little bit taller than I want this to be, because where I want this to sit, I don't want tall plants. I just want them to be shorter and fill in. So one last one right here, and this alyssum gets a good size, and it'll be really pretty and smell pretty alongside these petunias. Okay. Good morning. Here I am showing you my galvanized tub. I'm trying to be a little quiet because I have a hummer on my feeder there to the left of your screen, and I don't want to disturb. It's a juvenile male Anna's, and he's just feeding away. Here's the galvanized tub of pink petunias that I potted up for you, and it's growing, it's filling in beautifully. This sits down here on the floor in front of this potting bench, and I can see it from my dining room. This is the alyssum that I grew from seed. This is one plant, and you can see how it's really filling in. It's full of sweet smelling blossoms. This petunia is one I cut back hard when I put them in here. You can see how it's really filled in nicely. I'll turn this for you. Now these petunias are all facing that way because this is the direction the sun comes. So I will turn it today when I put it back down on my deck, and then they will start to turn, they will turn this way. Some of these I will trim back a little bit so they will get fuller and bloom even more again. But I only like do a third at a time, and that way I always have pretty blooms. Now I have thought about adding a trailing plant. I don't want flowers. I want just foliage. So I'm going between adding this to it, which this will trail out like that, or a nice ivy geranium, which the colors, the dark color against the lighter color is really pretty. You can see lots of new growth on this. But I haven't decided fully yet which one I want to do. So there is the progress shot of my galvanized tub garden.